So whenever I can avoid it, I try and not give you guys too many behind the scenes looks at my process for making main videos because I just not to say that it's tacky or anything, but it's tacky. And also just my process is my process. I don't feel like you are gained much by seeing it because a lot of it is kind of boring. But in researching for this new video that I'm working on, there's an old gripe that just came to mind, and I kind of want to rant about it. So when I was an undergrad, right, I had a lot of classes that the final piece of content you had to make the final thing you had to do to pass the class was write a paper, right? I was a psychology major. There's a lot of paper writing, and one of the requirements that a lot of my professors had was about citations, and that makes sense. Not only were there numbers of citations that you had to have for a research paper, so if it was a 6-page paper, maybe you had to have 5 citations, right? But one of the weirder rules that I never quite got or agreed with was the rule that your citations had to be recent, as in no older than 10, maybe 20 years, depending on the professor, depending on the class. And okay, this makes some intuitive sense. You want more recent citations because, one, there's a wider wealth of knowledge that those papers came out of. So we have the benefit of hindsight. We know what works, what doesn't in certain avenues. We have better technology, so our measurements can be more accurate and precise, better methodology. Peer review is better these days. There's a lot of good things about more recent papers that you're not going to find. The older and older the paper is, the less rigorous certain aspects of it. So in theory, older papers mean better findings, more reliable, accurate information. But the problem with that is, and the problem with making that a hard and fast rule, is that if you're researching a topic, in order to find the fuller context of the thing you're researching, a historical basis of that is often usually necessary. A scientific historic basis. So looking through past papers from decades and decades ago to see the theoretical basis of the thing that you're researching that a paper was published on in, 2010. You know what I mean? So it's they're just... Look, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's a paper that I'm researching for a video that I'm working on for you guys. So choosing words, left hemisphere, right hemisphere, or both perspectives on the lateralization of word retrieval. Sounds boring, and it is. But you scroll down a little bit and you get lexical activation. What's that? Okay, here's a definition, spreading activation. Okay, I want to know more about this topic, and I have a little bit of understanding of it from some of the classes that I took in my undergrad, but it's been a while, and also it would just be better to have a good base and framework for what this theory is all about and what the experimental data for it is. So we go to Google Scholar, we go spreading activation. All right, I picked this one just because this looked like it would give me somewhere to start. And so we already downloaded it. Spreading activation in emotional memory networks and the cumulative effects of somatic markers. So this general topic may not be what I'm looking for the video, but it's going to provide me some information on semantic memory and spreading activation. And more importantly, it's going to show me where that theory came from. Collins and Loftus, citation 2. Okay, Collins and Loftus, 1975. For context, that first paper was from 2016. The second paper is from 2017. So those are all recent papers. And so this next one is from 1975. So we go over here. Spreading activation theory of semantic processing. And we find out that it's actually from an even older theory, Quailian's theory of semantic memory. When was that founded? Quailian, 1966, 1969, 1962, 1967. So you see, we're already getting pretty far down the rabbit hole, and we're going back a pretty long ways, and we've only gotten to a 1975 paper, and this goes all the way back to 1962. At the fucking earliest. It could go even further than that. I mean, we could chase this rabbit hole as far as it goes. So then we go back to the original paper and we keep reading. So we know what spreading activation is because we've already read those papers, hopefully. I haven't actually finished reading them. But then we get to lexical selection. Okay, what is that? And the process continues ad nauseum. This is actually a more recent theory. This was from 2001. Still not within that 20 years, though. It is 2023. So, and this is the second page of this paper, and the first page is the abstract. Like, it's kind of silly, in my opinion, to create such a constraint on students to only look at papers that are within a certain time frame, unless that's specifically relevant to the class. Like, if you're talking about a specific time period in the history of psychology, sure, if you only look at these primary sources from that time period, okay. But, like, for a general research paper, yes, you should definitely have recent citations, but it does benefit you to have older citations, too. Anyway, I just want to have a little mini rant about that. I'm sorry. Back to your regular scheduled programming. I'll see you later. I don't know how long it's going to be till the next video. I'm sorry, guys. Bye.